Introducing oscillation signals. Redesigned sound and haptic notification system for personal medical devices used by diabetics. It's not so much about making new, different sounds as it is more about developing a logical system that drives those sounds. Diabetes is still an incurable disease that affects people of all ages, from babies to the elderly. Because a teenager would rather use an iPhone instead of a mobile phone for pensioners, there should be more options for the sound properties of something as personal as a medical device. Currently, the most complex diabetes device is the insulin pump, which is why it is considered to be the base of any diabetic notification system that determines its further features and properties. An insulin pump sets a rather high standard in terms of notification complexity, which the new system has to match or even push a bit further. Notifications in an oscillation system are divided into 4 different categories: blood glucose related, insulin delivery related, technical, and educational. They have to be unique enough to be easily distinguished, but at the same time, they need to be uniform. Nowadays, systems obtain new sets of data every 5 minutes. This means 30 readings per hour, 24 hours a day, which is great. although the sound notifications are usually limited to 10 or 15-minute intervals. This could still potentially mean getting 30 alarms per hour. The path to curing diabetes involves keeping the numbers in the target area, similar to that of a healthy body. However, during post-meal or bad periods, or in case of wrong dosing, the numbers can go crazy, and that is the moment when alarms occur. The purpose of an alarm is to inform the user about bad conditions that are currently happening or may happen in the near future, and that an action is needed. This is where things really start to change with the oscillation UI concept. It is a system concept for showing glucose in relation to real-world conditions. Conventional systems divide glucose spectrum into 3 categories: low, target, and high, whereas oscillation uses 7 different zones. Of course, the system still respects those main 3 zones, but it also adds additional transitional zones between the target and other zones. This is called the wider target zone. It also divides the high zone into high and ultra-high. The oscillation concept is being designed with the future in mind, and since the future is now, some of us are already living with a closed-loop system. Closed loop means that the device makes its own decisions and controls the insulin flow, ideally bypassing the user. Well then, why do we need notifications when the user is out of the game? The notification signals should not just be action triggers. They should be information carriers first and foremost. Notifications should be informative, not disturbing, until necessary. Why use transitional zones? Glycemia rises and falls all day, every day. Some changes are tiny, while others are significant. These changes also happen at varying speeds, which leads to different further scenarios. The change in value over time is usually called a trend. Trends are symbolized by one or multiple arrows pointing up or down based on the current situation. The more arrows there are, the quicker the change. But imagine using sound to convey the same information by simply changing the melody and rhythm. When glycemia changes rapidly, the melody plays faster, and vice versa. And since simplicity is the key, the melodies have predefined value ranges that determine when they are played, same as the arrow which keeps user experience consistent. After hearing them too often, notifications may become annoying, especially if they are badly designed and symbolize certain scenarios, while the real scenarios are completely different. As a result, some users tend to turn notifications off, which is wrong because notifications are useful and important. Others tend to ignore the beeping during sleep because it simply beeps too often, making the human brain start to ignore these sounds. The key is to design a notification system that is mostly quiet when values are within wider target zone, while the worse the value gets, the more unpleasant the notifications sound, which may also work as an educational tool, as it should. Oscillation glycemic signals are composed of 5 notes in 2 groups. First is the identificator. Second is the trend parameter. The identificator part can be used standalone to inform the user about slightly bad glycemia, or as a non-bothering reminder of the value being in the wrong zone for longer time. It is based on a 2-tone melody that is ascending or descending, depending on the current value. The trend parameter part is added when the trend is fast, or every time the value is out of the transitional zone. It has 3 melody modes: ascending, stable, and descending, which is affected by the trend speed. These 2 groups can be combined together to explain the current situation. And as it is more and more common to have some kind of prediction algorithm in the system, it should work together with the notification system. If the predicted value is about to stay within the wider target area for a short time, it is not necessary to inform or bother the user unless he wants to, or if the value stays worse for a specified amount of time. However, if the trend is fast, there should be a notification. Insulin-related notifications are mostly related to bulzing, so they inform about the start, finishing, or cancellation of insulin delivery. Basal notifications inform about the change of a program, or the stopping or resumption of the insulin delivery. And finally, there are reservoir status notifications such as low reservoir and empty reservoir. Technical notifications represent a basic set of action-related messages, such as yes and no, error, general warning, connection status, multi-purpose ding, and an emergency alarm. Educational signals should enhance the user experience by providing feedback to the user, to thank the user for leading a nicely compensated day, or express sadness and hope for a better tomorrow. Or they should warn the user if he or she is about to make a wrong decision that already happened in the past. For example, wrong dosing every Monday leading to hyperglycemia. All categories have common smart features. The volume of each notification can be adjusted automatically, similarly to display brightness. Every time a notification occurs, the device measures the ambient loudness level or asks another device, like a paired smartphone, and the notification volume is adjusted to start at the quietest volume level. If the user doesn't respond, the volume rises. This way, notifications are less distracting and noticeable for other people close to the user. The system also understands the daily routines as simple as a sleep or wake pattern. Thanks to that, the system can postpone notifications with lower level of importance, such as a low reservoir status occurring at 2 a.m., while there is still enough insulin to last for the next 15 hours. The user can sleep without interruptions, and if there really is a problem taking place, there is a higher chance of waking the user earlier as his ears are not used to hearing the alarm. System is also designed for modern multi-device setups, so the device is ready to be connected with a smartphone, smartwatch, smart speaker, smart home, or even smart car. The notification system is adjusted depending on current conditions, and the user gets a message through all of these channels in an order that sounds the device closest to the user first. The system is also ready for getting user response through these channels, so instead of pushing buttons on the pump, it's okay to just say, "Hey Alexa, I'm going to do something about those low levels." And of course, everything, including all the smart features, postponed behaviors, and wider target zone alarms, can be user adjusted or disabled in the settings for maximum user comfort. All notifications on worn devices start with vibration first, as this is the most personal way a device can grab the user's attention. If the user doesn't respond, a sound is added to the notification, and then the volume rises. Different messages can be differentiated simply by using different vibrating patterns and intensity across the groups. In everyday life, there are situations where silence is really important. Concerts, meetings, or perhaps even terrorist attacks, where even the sound of a vibrating motor may compromise you. For this reason, the entire oscillation system is mutable for a certain period of time without exceptions. Because in life, there may be more important things than a long-lasting hyperglycemia after having some pasta. Let's make the a bit more pleasing with oscillation. The sounds presented here are based on simplicity, neutrality, personality, and are along with all the smart features generally intended for use by more healthy diabetics who do not have hearing impairment and are generally well compensated.